Do you want to know what's going on in there right now? Well, best you keep watching. It'll be interesting, and it's certainly going to be beneficial to your indoor trees, or indeed your outdoor trees in 2025. Interesting. It's the 14th of December, and no, before you run away, I know they're Tigerbark Ficus. They're indoor bonsai, but we do have some work to do. I might actually go into the whole range of actually why I'm going to repot this one and two smaller ones just like it. I might tell you why I'm not going to repot this one, and whether or not I'm actually going to do any sort of pruning on this big large ficus, which I'm trying desperately to keep away from wire. So if you want to join me and my trees, keep watching, because we might also learn exactly what I've got shining from up there that's just so bright and harsh on my dining room table. Absolutely ideal if you want to grow really healthy indoor bonsai. Hi, it's Xavier. Welcome to my bonsai retreat, and right now we're in the dining room, and I have got the benefit of this brilliant grow light, courtesy of a little recommendation that came from Adam of Notion Bonsai. I think he's trying a similar one. The best thing about it is that I screw it into my standard dining room light bulb fitting, and I'm using my dining room table as my indoor grow studio. Do you know what? I think that's making good use of existing surfaces that are already here. But the only thing I can't do is mist. But I tell you what, I am actually already seeing the benefit of investing in a grow lamp for my bonsai. Tigerbark Ficus, love them, I hate them, I've got them. So I'm going to be doing some work on them. This year, I may well do a little bit of pruning on this, but truthfully, this big one, I want to let go. I might actually just let it go unchecked right through the winter and just let it have a full season of being left untouched.
You can't touch this.
The biggest and bestest advice I can give is if you've got trees, sometimes they really enjoy a year off. They just love to stretch those fingers, those roots out, those branches, and just reach for the sky. And I think that's exactly what I'm going to do for this one. Yes, indoor trees, they keep their leaves all the way through the year, and in a humid or hot climate where they normally are, then they will grow through most of the season. Now here, they actually do tend to go dormant, but that doesn't mean I can't do work on them. But the big rider I'll put to you is that recognising that they're probably in dormancy, now is not necessarily the best time to do wholesale root work on it. So if I want to do a lot of root work on this, I'd probably go traditionally and do it in the spring. Welcome to the studio. It's an incredible building I've set up here. Lots of lights and fantastic stuff to make the viewing pleasure even better. I hope. And maybe we won't even hear the motorway, but as I've walked my way in there, you might have noticed there's just a wee bit of clutter, and I've got to get this place ready for my sister and her two sons who are going to be up just after Christmas. Anyway, Tigerbark Ficus, absolutely brilliant. This started off life in a shop probably about 8 years ago, and it was the classic one that you get from a supermarket or whatever. It's probably about 2/3 of the size. It's been through the wars with me. I've done lots of stuff with it, and I've learned a lot about bonsai from it. And I think I'm going to say right now, for all of those of you who are saying, oh, indoor bonsai please, I've got better things to do in winter, they are great things to learn your skills on. You can learn wiring, you can learn pruning, and the best thing is, because it's indoors, you can watch it and you can observe what happens to these different actions. So it allows you to do your bonsai skills 366, 65 days of the year. One of you knows which one it is. Is it something to do with leap years?
He's rambling a bit, maybe drunk.
I don't intend to do any heavy root work on this. Could I? Truthfully, yes. Have I? Yes, in the past I have too. We've got an indoor environment. We can control the temperature, and we can also control the amount of light. Those two key things, and including water as well, means that we can keep any roots or new roots that might grow healthy and thriving, take it through to the spring. We've given it a spin, and do you know what? For a tree that cost me £9.99, it's lovely. I'm really happy with it. Could I've got more growth this season? Yes, and do you know what? I put that down to the fact we haven't had the sunniest of years. This certainly hasn't flushed out anywhere near as much as other ones have, but the leaf growth that's on there is healthy. We've got a few signs of that classic honeydew, which means, I'm sure if I have a look on the back of there somewhere, well, there's the signs of insect infestation anyway, so we are going to have to work on that. And that's a great time to say, you've been looking over in that corner, that's probably more interesting than me. You'll see there's some good old-fashioned extra virgin olive oil, and also some original fairy liquid. Want to find out what I'm going to do with that and in what quantity? Well, you better wait till the end. For those of you who've got good old industrial garden centre bug spray, I've also got some of that. My intention really is I want to see if by getting this into a bigger pot, feeding it up heavily next year and allowing all this stuff to just continue to flush out, what sort of results we're going to get. And more to the point, I want to have things like this branch here, which I'd really hoped would have pushed on, to push on. I really want to see some good horizontal growth. And you know, we know I removed this great big branch here. I'll put my hands up. I'm still not 100% sure it was the right decision, but I do know that if this stays healthy, we're going to be able to fill that in, and eventually, long term, it will be proved to the right decision. We're going to spray that down, but what we are going to do first is get this out of this, and we're actually just going to size up into that. Got a retaining wire, and I've put in my two screens in the bottom there. As for the soil, nothing special. In essence, what we've got here is probably 4 to 5 mil. We've probably got 4 to 5 mil Akadama, zeolite and pumice, and that should be absolutely brilliant for this. Yes, it'll be free draining, so it does mean I need to have a water tray and water it regularly. What I will do though quickly is just take any weeds that are on the surface off, because this soil is a good pumice grain, so I will also potentially be looking to reuse that. Like that. But looking at it, there's not, again, for something that's been in a pot for 3 years, I think 3 years now, there's not a lot of roots in there, which tells me it hasn't been entirely happy with its environment. As you can see, able to use my fingers here. That way, what I can do is avoid damaging potentially any roots that I might want to keep. Just untangle them with my fingers. We are inside, which means these roots will dry out quite quickly. I've got to be very aware of that, and to that end must make sure that I've got a spray bottle available to me. I mean, this really says a lot. You would expect for something that's been a pot for even a minimum of 1 year to have more than that. That tells me, well, that explains why there's no growth there. Got a couple of long straggly ones there. Let's just cut them off. This lack of roots was unexpected, but you know what? That's why we repot things sometimes. If you haven't seen the growth through the year, if you have the opportunity, you ask yourself, why have I not seen that growth? Is it because I haven't fertilised? Is it because we've had conditions that don't suit or have been adversarial to it? Has it been ill, injured? Or is it just something going on that you're just not aware of? The soil itself isn't particularly broken down, so that's not an issue. I'm gonna hedge my bets and say everyone who knows me and knows the retreat and knows there's gonna be a big change in 25, I'd suggest it's been a lack of fertilisation myself. 4 children. Now, I talked about fertiliser, and one of the things I have been advised and recommended to try is something called Super Thrive, which is a vitamin solution including kelp, and I'm going to see how this gets on through the winter with the indoor trees. But I will be looking to use this also on my maples and stuff next year. But one of the things it can do, if you want to soak root balls, trees 2 teaspoons per 5 gallons, which equates to half a milliliter in 100 mils. So I'm going to, hopefully there's no holes in this, soak the roots in that for a little while. Again, I've never tried this technique, but apparently it also is quite effective, so we'll do that. All I want to do now is get some soil in. And as always with potting, we want to create a nice mound in the middle. Take this out. And I'm going to use this opportunity to also spread some of those roots around. Just tie that down nicely. Again, as I say, looking at the roots, trying to spread them all out. Just making sure, as I say, these roots, good contact with the soil, but are also spread about. Because what roots there are, we certainly want to be keeping. And as the soil tumbles onto the carpet, I'm reminded how much cleaning I had to do last winter when I was filming indoors.
A superhero's work is never done.
Well, that's all nicely bedded in. I've got it on this plastic tray because the biggest issue, and I think we all face it with indoor trees, is watering and trying to stop the water from getting all over our nice furniture. I'm going to use gently the stuff that I've just been soaking the roots in, and like you would with all trees that have been freshly potted, you need to give it a good soaking. This is a simple way of watering my ficus. Washing up bowl, lightly watering the leaves. Basically, in there, they're sitting in water. And that is how I water my indoor trees once we get into the cold times of November, December. That's my washing up trainer, by the way. So there it is, repotted, exactly the same position, but we've had a chance to investigate the roots. We recognise there's an issue. We've given them a good old soaking in this Super Thrive. Interested to see how that works out. All I do need to do is then all we need to do there is give it a good spray with my Rose Clear Ultra. Don't leave home without it. Now, not being sponsored for anyone who's getting a bit worried.
That was a dig, right?
Now equally, we don't need to buy the commercial products. We can just use a standard 100ml spray bottle and add a little dab, and when I say a dab, a little squeeze of standard dishwashing liquid. I find the yellow fairy is better than the green, who knows why. And some form of oil, and it all relates to how that affects on the crustaceous back of these insects, whether it dissolves it or stuff like that. I think the oil, when you put, I think I put half a teaspoon in there as well to every 100ml, I think that actually blocks all their pores, and they breathe through their back and body and legs and stuff like that, so it basically blocks them and suffocates them. Sounds a bit nasty and grim, really. So that one's all done, and I love it in its bigger pot, and I hope that we're all going to enjoy seeing this grow and bloom in 2025. Pruning wise, nada. I'll leave it as it is. So, 2 more to do. Should we have a look at them? We've got this one first, and I mean, again, those of you who follow my channel know that this originated as a cutting from indeed that one that you've just seen. This cutting is now at least 5 years old. We've got, this is the sort of growth I was expecting to see on the other one. Extensions coming up, and it's reached that point that because it's got so much honeydew, we need to keep that a good soaking and cleaning off. This one I will actually be pruning. Again, I want that though to go into a much bigger pot. And yes, it's massively oversized right now, but that's what I want. I want this to be really getting bigger in height. To get bigger in height, do I need to prune it? That's the question. It's a balance, because I'm aware of the honeydew, and I'm also aware of branches going in the wrong direction. These things grow like trees, so normally good pruning isn't going to be a problem. And then this is the other one. Again, interesting. You know me, I like interesting structures. This is quite nice. Again, I want it to be bigger. Does it need to come out of the pot right now? Probably not. But having seen what I saw in the last one, potentially we could have the same issue here. Again, this will be upsized into a substantially larger pot. I've got my magic elixir, which I'll be soaking the roots in for half an hour first, and then I'll bring you back when they're done and maybe just a little bit of pruning. I think I'll bring you back actually, because the problem I noticed with this one was the exact opposite. We actually had very damp, claggy soil in there, and we've got, again, not the most brilliant amount of roots on there for the amount of time it's been in there, but if you're looking close actually, it's got a really nice to buy roots there, but we've just got these long gangly, and really, again, I am going to have to just restrict high those can spread out. So yeah, we'll get that in there. So we'll let them soak away. I'm going to go and have a coffee, come back in half an hour. Okay, well this is this one repotted, and I know half of you absolutely abhor it when I put animals on there, but for now, part of it is his legs is actually keeping a couple of the roots sticking down. Interesting coloured rock there. Again, main purpose of the rock is actually to keep the tree in place. It is wired, but because of the root structure I wasn't able to hold it in place as well as I'd like. So what we do need to do, I've sprayed it and gone around each individual leaf, basically wiped it. I think it's going to do really much better in a bigger pot. I think this is going to be the back, but what we can already see is a pruning decision that can be made. This will come out to the back, but we don't really want this one. This is a lot healthier than the other one. I don't want that one there. So this already allows air and light and ventilation to get through, especially important when you get these bug infestations. The last thing you want is leaves sticking and touching to each other. This is growing up nice and strong, but what I really want is the shoots to come out horizontally. What we want to make sure is that we have a look to see if we've got any scale, and just there's a little scale insect. We'll get rid of that. I'm thinning it out, but continuing to give it that shape that I like, really like. In here, a little bit chaotic, got a stub, we'll get rid of that. And we don't really want that coming up towards us, so we're actually going to take the top off that one. In here, it's a little chaotic, but it's still juvenile growth. Do I look at this, and I think remove all of that. And again, there's a lot of buggy stuff here. Just wipe with my fingers. Get rid of the one that's underneath. And I think that's probably as far as we'll go for now, and I think that'll be fine right through the next sort of 6 to 8 weeks. Be good to watch. In fact, this will be good to see in spring and just see how much of a difference that new fertiliser makes, and also a bigger pot. There we go. That's quite nice. To be honest, it's quite nice like that as well. That could still end up being a front, although I think that's my preferred front. And then this one, again, really like it. Found a really unusual rock up in Orkney. Some interesting colours on it. And we have our fisherman there. His elbow is actually holding the tree up. Again, because the roots weren't quite as thick as I needed them to be. I did struggle to tie them down. But I think it's it's quite nice actually. I really like it. In here, this one growing, it's going to grow up into this part here. It could be that eventually what I'll do is remove this one here. That may well be some option I could actually do now, to be honest. I think I will. There we go. And then the same thing, we just really want to bring back. And if you're looking close on all of these, you can see there's lovely new leaves just about to sprout out. So we've got these great big long extensions here. Certainly don't want those. That's quite nice actually as well. That's quite long before we get anything in there. And there it is. Really like it. I'll just show you what I mean by those leaves. So you don't need to worry. We've got some growth coming through. If you look in close there, little leaves that are they're going to all open up, and we've got those in quite a few places, so very, very happy with that. So that's done for this afternoon. Really happy with how all three have worked out. I love that as a composition, and I think the rock and everything, I just think that works really, really well. So let me know what you think of that. Ficus are a lot of fun, and the best thing about ficus is that as soon as those temperatures go up above about 14 degrees overnight, they go straight outside. So mine live outside from somewhere around about early May right through to late September, and they get to enjoy the best of both worlds. So what can we expect before we get to Christmas? I've had a request that people want some updates on Tony's trees, and I know they've featured in a number of different videos, but I'm literally going to do a really whistle-top tour around the back garden in the cold. I'm going to brave it for you all and just show you where Tony's trees are right now. I'm also going to talk about plans for 2025 and a few other little surprises that I think you'll quite enjoy. But before then, I have got probably 8, 9 of these Tigerbark Ficus. It's amazing, they're all from the same tree. It's just like my Chinese elm factory. And these are probably 3 to 4 years old. I've got another 3 or 4 that are probably the same age as those actually. In fact, it will be the same age as those, but they didn't go into pots. It'll be interesting to do a comparison actually, but I'm going to have fun and try and build myself a little Tigerbark Ficus forest. And mainly because I want to try and get them all into one area, makes them easier for the grow light. So if you want to see more about ficus, in particular creating a root over rock ficus, then that's the video you definitely need to watch. Otherwise, enjoy life, happy bonsai and God bless. Cheers.